Okay, so weight loss injections in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's a hot topic, and we're getting heaps of questions about it.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a topic that's on a lot of people's minds these days.
Yeah. For this deep dive, we've actually got a really comprehensive guide, and it covers like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
How these injections work, costs, where to find them, even what people in NZ are saying about their experiences.
It's a lot to wade through, though, right?
Oh, it is.
There's so much information out there.
Yeah, and that's what we want to try and do is just break it down into the essential need-to-know stuff.
Absolutely. Give you the key takeaways.
Yeah, so you can really understand what these treatments are all about without, getting totally overwhelmed. So I guess let's start with the basics. When we talk about weight loss injections, what are we actually talking about? What are these things and how do they actually
help you lose weight, right?
Yeah.
So there are a few different ones out there. The main ones you'll probably hear about are Saxenda, Ozempic, and Wegovy. And then there's also one called Mounjaro that's kind of on the horizon.
Okay.
Expected to be available in NZ a bit later down the track. But those first three are kind of the main players at the moment.
Right. Okay.
And in terms of how they work, it's actually pretty interesting. They work in a few different ways. So Saxenda is a daily injection.
Okay.
Whereas Ozempic and Wegovy, you only have to take once a week.
Okay, that's good.
Which is...
That's handy.
Yeah, much more convenient for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
And they basically work by kind of tapping into your body's natural systems and sort of manipulating them a little bit to help you lose weight.
Right. How do they do that?
So one of the main things they do is they slow down how quickly your stomach empties.
Okay.
So
it makes you feel fuller for longer.
Exactly. So after you eat, it takes longer for that food to move from your stomach into your intestines.
Okay.
So you feel full and satisfied for longer, which means you're less likely to overeat or snack between meals.
That's good. I mean, that's like half the battle sometimes. Right?
Oh, totally, yeah. For a lot of people, just managing those cravings and that constant hunger is a big part of it. And then on top of that, they also work on the hormones that regulate your appetite.
Okay.
So they essentially kind of turn down the volume on those I'm hungry signals in your brain.
Right.
So you just don't feel as hungry overall.
So it's a double whammy.
Yeah, it's kind of coming at it from a couple of different angles.
Whatever.
And then Ozempic specifically, because it was originally developed as a diabetes medication, it also has the added benefit of improving your body's sensitivity to insulin.
Okay.
So it helps your body use insulin more effectively, which leads to better blood sugar control.
Right.
Which is obviously particularly important for people with diabetes, but it can also be beneficial for weight management in general.
Okay. So it's like tackling it from a few different angles.
Yeah.
It's slowing down your digestion. It's affecting those hunger hormones. It's improving your blood sugar. So it's like a multi-pronged approach.
It is a multi-pronged approach. And that's why they're proving to be quite effective for a lot of people.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, I'm sure for a lot of people listening, the next big question is, okay, how much is this going to cost me?
Yeah, that's a really important question.
What are we talking about in terms of costs in New Zealand for these injections?
So unfortunately, it's not super straightforward. There's a bit of a range depending on the specific medication, the dose you need, and even where you buy it from. But to give you a general idea, Saxenda tends to be somewhere between $350 and $450 per pen.
Okay.
And the exact cost will depend on the dose that your doctor prescribes.
Right.
Ozempic is usually a bit cheaper. It's around $130 to $160 per pen.
Okay.
But again, the higher doses can be a bit pricier.
Right.
And then Wegovy, if you can actually get hold of it, which can be a bit of a challenge at the moment, that one's likely to set you back over $400 per pen.
Per pen. So, and obviously one pen doesn't last forever.
Right. No. So the total cost will really depend on how long you need to be on the medication for.
Okay.
Which can vary quite a bit from person to person.
Right.
But often it's at least 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
And it also depends on the dose you're on and how often you need to inject. So for example, if you're on Saxenda, you're looking at potentially $400 to $600 per month.
Okay.
Whereas Ozempic might be more like $130 to $300 per month.
Okay, so it can vary quite a bit.
It can, yeah. And those prices are just estimates. They can fluctuate a little bit depending on things like special offers or discounts that pharmacies might have.
Okay.
And it's always worth checking if you're eligible for any subsidies, although unfortunately most people aren't when they're using these medications for weight loss.
Right, so it's mainly an out-of-pocket expense for most people.
It's for most people, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking into whether your private health insurance might cover some of the costs. And some clinics might have patient support programs or offer discounts, so it's definitely worth asking around and seeing what your options are.
Okay, good advice.
And sometimes if you buy multiple pens at once, you might get a bit of a discount as well.
Right. So, okay, you've talked to your doctor, you've decided, okay, this is something I want to explore.
Yep.
Where do you actually get these injections from in NZ?
So the most common place that people seem to go is Chemist Warehouse.
Okay.
They stock both Saxenda and Ozempic.
Right.
And they're often quite competitive on price.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of deals and promotions going on.
So it's always good to check their website or pop in and see what's what.
Yeah, check their website, see what the latest deals are, or just go into a store and have a chat.
Okay.
Apart from Chemist Warehouse, you can also get them from your local pharmacy.
Right.
Or there are also some online medical clinics that can prescribe and dispense them as well.
Okay, so a few different options to explore there.
Yep.
Okay, now obviously with any medication, there's potential side effects.
Of course.
What are the things that someone needs to be aware of if they're considering these injections?
Yeah, so it's really important to be aware of the potential side effects. And I guess we can break them down into the ones that are more common.
Okay.
And then the ones that are rarer but more serious.
Okay.
So the most common side effects are things like nausea, diarrhea, or constipation.
Right.
Some people get headaches, fatigue, and occasionally mild hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar.
Right, okay. So they sound like they could be pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
But hopefully manageable.
For most people, they are manageable.
Yeah.
And they often tend to improve as your body adjusts to the medication.
Right.
But it's still important to be aware of them and let your doctor know if you're experiencing anything that's particularly bothersome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then there are some rare side effects that can be more serious.
Okay.
So things like pancreatitis problems with your gallbladder. And with long-term use of Saxenda in particular, there has been a link observed with thyroid tumors.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's why it's really, really important to talk to your doctor before starting any of these medications.
Yeah.
They can assess your individual risks and benefits.
Absolutely.
And make sure that it's the right choice for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, it's always interesting to kind of hear what people are actually saying about these things.
Yeah.
You know, in the real world.
Definitely.
What kind of feedback have people been giving about their experiences with weight loss injections?
Well, there's quite a mixed bag, really, which is, I guess, to be expected with any treatment. But there are a lot of positive stories out there.
Okay.
People saying that they've lost a significant amount of weight.
Like, I lost 10 kilos in 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah, you see comments like that all the time.
Yeah.
Ozempic has completely curbed my cravings.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also say that the side effects were pretty minimal for them.
Like, oh, I just had a bit of nausea at the start, and then it went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all very encouraging.
That is, yeah.
But then, of course, there are also some less positive experiences out there as well.
Right.
So some people find that the cost is just too prohibitive.
Yeah.
Especially given that they're not really subsidized for weight loss.
Yeah.
Some people experience more severe side effects.
Like some people can't get past that nausea.
Yeah. For some people, the nausea is really debilitating.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, people have trouble actually finding the medication in stock.
Right. Yeah, availability can be an issue sometimes.
It can be, yeah.
So it's not all sunshine and roses?
No.
But it does seem like it's helping a lot of people.
It does seem to be helping a lot of people. But yeah, it's important to go into it with realistic expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a magic bullet.
It's not a quick fix, no.
No, it requires commitment.
Yeah.
And you need to be prepared to make lifestyle changes as well.
Yeah. Okay, good advice. Well, it's interesting because it feels like this whole area is evolving quite rapidly.
Oh, it is incredibly rapid.
What's new on the horizon in terms of weight loss injections in New Zealand?
So there are a couple of new developments that are quite exciting.
Cool.
One is Wegovy, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's a higher dose of semaglutide, which is the active ingredient in Ozempic.
All right.
And it's currently being considered for approval in New Zealand. So if it gets approved...
So that would be a weekly one as well, would it?
It would be weekly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's showing really promising results in terms of weight loss.
Okay, so potentially even better results.
Potentially, yeah. For some people, it could be even more effective.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then there's another medication called Mounjaro, which is a bit different.
Okay.
It actually targets 2 different gut hormones instead of just one.
Okay.
So most of the other medications we've talked about, they mainly target a hormone called GLP-1,
Okay.
which helps you feel full.
Right.
But Mounjaro also targets another hormone called GIP, which is involved in blood sugar control and is also thought to play a role in weight loss.
So it's like a dual action.
Yeah. It's kind of a two-pronged attack.
Okay. And when is that one expected?
So Mounjaro is expected to become available in NZ sometime in 2024 or 2025.
Okay, so a little while off yet.
Yeah, a little while off. But these new options are definitely exciting because they could potentially offer even better results than the current options.
Okay.
But the downside is that they're likely to be more expensive as well.
Right, yeah. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Okay, so who are these treatments actually best suited for?
Yeah.
Is it literally just anyone who wants to lose a couple of kilos?
So generally speaking, they're mainly intended for people who are struggling with obesity.
Okay.
Or who have other health conditions that are related to their weight, like insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes.
Right.
In fact, Ozempic was originally developed as a diabetes medication.
Yeah.
And it's been shown to be really effective at not only lowering blood sugar levels, but also promoting weight loss and reducing the risk of things like heart attacks and strokes in people with diabetes.
Okay.
So if you do have diabetes, it's definitely worth talking to an endocrinologist who's a specialist in hormonal disorders to see if one of these medications might be suitable for you.
Right.
But even if you don't have diabetes, these medications can still be really helpful for weight loss.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that they're most effective when they're combined with lifestyle changes.
So it's not just a matter of taking the injection and then carrying on with your life as usual.
No, exactly. You can't just rely on the medication alone.
You still need to be making healthy choices in terms of your diet.
Exactly.
And your exercise.
Yep.
And all of those good things.
It's all part of a holistic approach.
Yeah. Okay, so if someone does start on one of these injections, what sort of weight loss can they realistically expect to see?
So it varies from person to person.
Of course.
But we can give some general guidelines based on clinical trials and real-world experience. So with Saxenda, for example, in the first month, you might lose somewhere between 2 and 4 kilos.
Okay.
By 3 months, that could be up to 5 to 10 kilos.
Okay.
And after 6 months, if you're consistently using the medication, and you're making those lifestyle changes as well, you could potentially lose 10 to 15 kilos or even more.
So it's a gradual process.
It is a gradual process.
It's not like overnight.
No, it's not a quick fix.
No. Okay. And what if someone doesn't like the idea of injections?
Yeah.
Are there other options available in NZ for weight loss medications?
There are, There are a few other options that you can take as tablets.
Okay.
So things like Orlistat, which works by reducing the amount of fat that your body absorbs from food.
Okay.
There's Contrav, which is a combination of 2 medications that can help reduce cravings.
Right.
And there's Metformin, which is mainly used for diabetes, but can sometimes help with weight loss as well.
Okay, so there are alternatives out there.
There are,
But it sounds like the injections tend to be more effective for significant weight loss.
Yeah. Generally speaking, the injections do tend to be more effective.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking to lose a substantial amount of weight.
Okay. Well, look, we've covered a lot of ground here today.
We have.
What are the key takeaways that you would want someone to remember if they're considering weight loss injections?
Okay, so I think the main things to remember are firstly that these injections can be really effective for weight loss.
Yeah.
And they can also help you manage those cravings that can be really hard to control.
Yeah.
But it's really important to be aware of the potential side effects.
Absolutely.
And to have a really thorough discussion with your doctor
Yeah.
before starting any of these treatments.
Yeah.
Cost is another big factor to consider, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of subsidies available at the moment.
Right.
If you're looking for convenience, the weekly injections like Ozempic and Wegovy are a good option.
Yeah, once a week is much easier.
Much easier than daily.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the specific medications, I guess the top 3 contenders at the moment would be Saxenda for a more gradual approach.
Okay.
Ozempic for its weekly dosing.
Yep.
And Wegovy if and when it becomes available for potentially more significant weight loss.
Okay, so some exciting options out there.
Yeah, there are some really promising options.
But as you say, it's really important to talk to your doctor.
Absolutely.
Do your research.
Yep.
And make sure that it's the right choice for you.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
It's not.
Right. It's about finding what works best for you as an individual.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I guess a final thought for people to consider. Given everything we've talked about today, you know, the potential benefits.
Yeah.
The cost, the side effects, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
What are the most important things that you would weigh up when deciding whether or not to explore weight loss injections with a healthcare professional?
That's a great question.
It is a big decision, isn't it?
It is a big decision.
And it's not one to be taken lightly. So yeah, we really encourage you to continue doing your own research.
Absolutely.
Talk to your doctor. Get personalized advice.
Yep.
And really make sure that it's the right choice for you before you jump in.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.